de la Figura 4 Estudios en línea en la hermosa Bottle, Washington, exclusivo al observador de la lucha libre, que están escuchando el programa de Bryan y Vinny, con sus anfitriones, el Barón Álvarez, Vincente y Señor Apropiado.
Wow. Long time since we used that one.
Yes, it is.
It's the Bryan Vinny Show, everybody. It is Sunday night here on the show. And what a wacky program we have for you tonight. Every last single thing you could possibly think of that has nothing to do with anything else. I hesitate to say. I've been trying to curb my profanity here on the show, but it's going to be very tough tonight. A fucking horrible fucking edition of fucking Smackdown. God, I hate that show. So we had that, we had Ring of Honor, and we had some matches from the Tenryu retirement show. Which I might add, had a match that was one of the oldest matches ever in the history of mankind. Better than Smackdown.
Well, much.
Fell in the main event who, by the end, literally could not move. Better than Smackdown.
Also a fact.
I have such disdain for this Smackdown show. It's oozing from my pores, my hatred for this show.
It was a deliberate attempt to waste time.
Yes.
Throughout.
Think about this. They're doing a world title tournament, and this show, with tournament matches, was designed to waste time.
Yes.
I'll bet you anything that there are going to be some people who are very upset with this review because they enjoyed SmackDown. Too bad. I hated this show. I'm going to tell you every reason I hated it. I'm going to try to be fair, but it's going to be... Just start.
Should we do that first or last?
Of course!
I thought we were going to save it for the main event. So...
No, I have too much fury in me right now.
The Wyatts... And it was been 2 hours, by the way. Wyatts came out for a spooky promo. They used such corny dialogue as, and I quote, "Bray Wyatt brings vengeance and sorrow to all who oppose him. And tonight, we bring pain and humiliation to all who oppose us."
Yes.
A human being said this.
The Vintner, actually.
It was the Vintner.
And his delivery sucked.
Who cares?
You know why I care? I'll tell you why I care.
Ian McKellen cannot make that line work.
Because The Undertaker has been given so many god-awful lines in his life, but because he's so ugly, and he's so scary-looking, and he has such good delivery, it's only mildly distressing.
All right.
When the Vintner tries to spit out this dialogue, it doesn't work.
I see.
When Giant Eugene tries to spit out this dialogue, how he's going to pile bodies to the sky for the Eater of Worlds, a grown man said those lines. I don't buy it. This all sucked.
So Bray starts talking, and he explains that, okay, Taker and Kane, they may be back, but they'll never be the same. I have pieces of them with me, and I will live in their nightmares. And this all might have meant anything if I had not just watched Taker and Kane kill you and your army to close out the last show.
Do we live in an alternate universe from the one that aired Raw on Monday? Did I not on Monday see The Undertaker and Kane 2-on-4 beat the shit out of all 4 of these fuckers? Did I not see that?
I saw it.
I saw it. Therefore, as a fan, when I turn on this show and these 4 dipshits are in the ring trying to make me think that I should care about a tag, and by the way, please keep this in mind for later. Bray wants a tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
His men were decimated 2-on-4.
Right.
And so his plan is, well, let's do 2-on-2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll choose 2 men.
I will cut my forces in half.
Yes. That's the selling point for Survivor Series. Which, by the way, I cannot bring myself to believe that the Undertaker match will close the show. But the show is being built around the 25th anniversary, whatever it is, of The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
They've been playing this up forever.
Yes.
There is at least a possibility this will close the show. This is your main event angle.
I can't. No. Just no.
Why don't you do it this way, Vinny?
Okay.
Just accept that it's a yes, and then if they don't do it, you're in a better mood. As opposed to convincing yourself they won't do it when you fucking know full well this could close the show.
That would be terrible. So yeah, that was his challenge, and this led to Braun Strowman versus Fandango.
Can you imagine this guy's career has fallen to the level where he only appears on television in foreign lands where people may sing his song?
Yes.
And you want to know what's worse? Fandango had this music, and one day after WrestleMania, the fans started singing his song, and they started doing this thing with their fingers.
Right.
Okay. He never did that with his fingers.
No.
Because it's stupid. However, now that the fans have started doing that, and because his sole purpose in life in the WWE Universe is to go places where they will sing his song and dance with their fingers, now Fandango has to dance with his fingers. This man needs to request his release, go to Ring of Honor, or New Japan, or CMLL, or AAA, or any fucking place in the world besides where he is right now, because he's fucked.
I'm not sure any of those places would necessarily have open arms for Fandango. Maybe I'm wrong.
Why not? He's a talented dude.
Sure. Actually, AAA is losing everyone.
They'd probably make big money. They'd probably make a big money offer for this guy.
Yeah, I take that back. All right, so Braun threw him around for a minute. He won with a standing choke.
He's got a gimmick tailor-made for Mexico.
That was the whole match.
Yeah.
This was after the opening promo, so we're off to a very hot start. In a tournament match, Neville versus King Barrett.
Okay, since we have 3 tournament matches, I'll just start right now. In an effort to be a fair, impartial observer, I will note that all 3 matches were fine. In fact, one could say that a few of them were even good. However, when you've got a tournament for the World Championship, and among the participants is Wade Barrett, who I don't believe has won a single match since King of the Ring,
right?
Which, if I recall correctly, was in June.
I don't even remember.
I was 39 when this tournament started. I wasn't even in my 40s yet. You've got a match with Kalisto, who, God bless the guy, great worker, had the best match he could with the Ryback, but it's still Kalisto in a tournament for the world title.
That's right.
And Stardust. Knowing that, there's no earthly reason that these matches needed to be as long as they were.
No.
Now, I know that we complained on Raw that some of the matches in the tournament were too short. Well, this was the exact opposite.
There is a sweet spot.
There's a sweet spot.
Why
does a match with Stardust or Kalisto or Wade Barrett need to go through a full commercial break? Nobody can take these matches seriously. Nobody took the matches seriously in the building. I can't take the matches seriously as an observer at home because it's a bunch of mid-card geeks supposedly fighting for the world title. And mind you, in a world title match, Wade Barrett got distracted by fans. He got distracted by announcers. He got distracted cutting promos on the crowd.
Yeah.
It was like he was working superstars. And he's supposed to be in a world championship match.
All true. So Neville gets a sit-down promo about what a great opportunity this was and making fun of Wade for getting slapped by a footballer. Wade is very proud of his new blue and white trunks. So they're doing a very old-school match. Lots of headlocks and everything.
That's what we need in this tournament.
Yeah. Well, in a way, yes, but this is not the way. So Neville's in the apron, and Wade grabs him by the hair and drags him over the top rope into the ring. And so he's got Neville's hair in his hands and Neville's feet are on the top rope, and then Wade throws him by the head hard down to the mat. Who the hell thought of that? Don't do that, everyone. Terrible idea. Booker T was making boxing and UFC references all night. Talked about John Jones and DC fighting. A lot of wear down holds, a lot of chokes. They did a hold on the floor. I'm not making that up. Wade threw Neville outside, put him in a hold to look at the belt. And he started mouthing off to the crowd here in this World Championship match. We got 1,000 comebacks because the match was 1,000 years long. And at last, Neville spiked him with the DDT, hit the Red Arrow for the win. And here's exactly what I wrote. Not a bad match, but at least twice as long as it needed to be.
Yes, and boring.
It was boring. And they said these second round matches would start on Raw, which means we're only in the semis and the final at the pay-per-view.
Well, I could have some semis on SmackDown.
Sure. Actually, yeah, I guess right. Maybe they'll only do the final on pay-per-view. Renee interviewed the Usos. You've never seen two men so excited about a Wyatt's match.
Little did they know.
Yeah. Kalisto versus the Ryback. We had a Kalisto sit-down promo. He said he respected Ryback, but warned him, don't underestimate my size. And then he quoted Low Key's line about the size of the dog in the fight.
And then he looked so embarrassed as they cut away.
In a mask, mind you.
And then they interview Ryback, who says he respects Kalisto, but his instincts tell him that he must eat Kalisto.
I must devour anyone who gets in my way.
That's what he said.
So they wrestled for a minute, and the gimmick was Kalisto was too fast for Ryback to get a hold of. He actually hit the Salina del Sol a minute in, but Ryback kicked out at 1, and they went to break. So they came back from break, and Kalisto was still being fast and annoying, and finally Ryback got a hold of him and started powerbombing him repeatedly. That put a stop to that. Then things slowed way down. Here's what I wrote. So Ryback futzed around for a while, then moved on to squeezing. Then nothing happened for a while.
Rich Brennan was trying so hard to try to make me care that Ryback was hugging Kalisto.
Yes. Kalisto avoided a shell shock, which seems to frustrate Ryback, and it frustrated him into inaction. He just stood there. And then they were fighting on the top rope when Kalisto hit a super Salina del Sol and won. Kalisto pinned Intercontinental Champion, the Ryback.
Ryback still kicked out at 3.
He did.
Yeah. There was a spot a little bit earlier where Kalisto went for an acai moonsault, and Ryback was supposed to catch him.
Yes.
Think of Ryback's size and strength and the size of his opponent. He managed to drop him, and they both fell down, and Kalisto sold anyway. And then Ryback laughed with his giant mouth.
So Ryback offered a handshake, he raised Kalisto's hand, and he left him to celebrate. And that was that.
It was okay. They found a way to make me not care while watching it. And what was funny was when I heard that Ryback was facing Kalisto, and Kalisto beat Ryback, I was intrigued, and that was the main reason I decided to watch SmackDown this week.
Well,
I was left disappointed.
Was it worth it?
No. What I had in my mind was better, as usual.
In the final tournament match in the show, Alberto Del Rio versus Stardust. The Mex-Americans came out and cut a promo saying the UK was not a united kingdom, it was a divided kingdom. An army of haters.
Can we talk about the real line of the night?
Army of Haters would be a great name for a band.
It would be. They said Stardust was going to win the WWE title. That was his goal, to win the title and take it to the nether regions.
They did say that.
His balls?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Does any geek on the writing crew know what nether regions means?
Apparently not. Because that's what I thought of when I heard it. Anyway.
Who cares?
Yeah. So
Del Rio won.
Let's talk about Del Rio's heel turn and how confusing it is. Or his appearance and how unclear it is whether or not he is a face or a heel. He seems to change almost by the segment.
Del Rio was supposed to be a heel from day one. They just happened to have the brilliant idea of debuting him in the LA market. So
Yeah.
he was cheered wildly.
Yeah.
But he is a heel. He knows it sucks. You can tell by the way he does his interviews. He looks so frustrated to say such dumb shit and get such a lame reaction.
Yeah. So he's here against Stardust, who was also a heel. So, of course, nobody cared. Because why would they? Stardust used a Diamond Dust for a near fall, and Del Rio cut him off for the backcracker. And what this became was a series of comebacks and cutoffs that no one cared about at all. And why would they? And Del Rio won with a corner foot stomp, and we've mentioned this before. This finish sucks. Because
Every time his stupid fucking opponent has to scale the ropes like he's going to do a moonsault.
yeah,
Have we ever seen Cody Rhodes do a moonsault?
rarely, but yes, but rarely.
I guess we have, because he does a nice layout.
Yeah.
Still,
The point is,
don't climb the ropes
Yeah.
in a Del Rio match.
right. And it takes forever, and it's convoluted, and it drags the match to a halt. This is a dumb, dumb finish.
Who is Del Rio facing next in this tournament?
I did not write it down. Oh, it's
Kalisto.
Kalisto, yeah.
Okay, so at least he'll believably go up to the top rope.
Sure.
Are you aware the Seahawks are now ahead?
Not quite, unless it happened.
No, it just happened.
I'm watching it right now.
I'm getting breaking news here, Vinny. Ahead of you.
I'm watching the NBC stream. It's a few seconds behind. Their defense is whipping ass right now. How about that? Yeah, they were way behind earlier, everyone, for those of you who don't know or care. Okay, so then I wrote, so Del Rio won, and then I wrote, this was a boring match in a tournament full of them.
Can I get a job at Football Outsiders as a breaking news correspondent, seeing as how I just scooped you on a football score?
Why don't you hand me your resume? I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
All right. Renee
What if I
interviewed...
don't have one?
Well, it's going to be hard then.
Fuck.
Can you do your resume via Twitter?
Yeah, is that possible?
Can you sum up your career in 140 characters?
Can I just send... Yeah, actually, I probably could. Now that I think about it.
Renee interviewed Roman backstage about his upcoming tournament match against Cesaro. He gave a long speech comparing the climb to the top of the company to the climb of Mount Everest, with lots of forced metaphors about blizzards and avalanches. And they showed him once again refusing to sell out and join Triple H after Raw.
And we're already at the main event.
And we are.
Let's talk about this. The Usos faced Luke Harper and the Vintner
Yeah.
in a tag team match.
Yeah.
Everybody got that? Mm-hmm. Okay. In case you missed the first part of the show or you turned it off because I was ranting, let me just recap briefly what led to this. The Undertaker and Kane returned Monday and destroyed utterly all four Wyatts. Correct?
Fact.
Bray Wyatt then appeared on Smackdown and completely, inexplicably challenged Undertaker and Kane to a 2-on-2 match. Correct?
Also a fact.
That led to the main event where the Vintner and Luke Harper faced the Usos in a tag team match. Correct?
Yes. You're doing very well.
True or false? This match ended when the Usos were winning and the Wyatts were so frustrated that they proceeded to have the other Wyatts run in for the disqualification loss.
All factual.
This is the dumbest fucking booking I have ever heard of, ever in my life. Nothing TNA has ever done could compare to this monstrosity of a booking scheme for the main event at Survivor Series. They couldn't beat the Wyatts 2-on-2. They had to have the rest of them run in for the DQ.
Yes.
In what way, in what universe would this make anyone have any interest whatsoever in seeing a tag team match between The Undertaker and Kane and two members of the Wyatts? Can somebody explain this to me? Fuck this!
That was a horrible show. I was going over it trying to find out if there was a best match, and there wasn't. There was no best match in that show.
Am I making up anything in what I just explained for that main event?
I swear to God, no. You're 100% right. I see you going over your notes to make sure you've got everything correct. Yes, you're right. That's what happened, and that's what they think is going to inspire you to be excited about whatever the hell Undertaker is doing. Are you excited?
Maybe I read this in the spoilers and just had a stroke. I don't know what happened. I watched this and almost died watching the disqualification. The Usos were running wild. They hit their dives to the outside. They wiped out all 4 men.
They did.
They were winning, and the Wyatts ran in for the DQ because they could not beat them in a 2-on-2 match. And you know what is the best part? The show ended when Undertaker came out and accepted the challenge. No, fuck that. They didn't even come out. They were in the building, but they never appeared before the crowd. They only did a promo over the PA.
Yeah.
Accepting a 2-on-2 match.
They should have laughed. Of course we will. Bring all 4. We whipped your ass once.
I hate this show. The show is now officially boycotted again.
All right.
After tonight.
That's good news.
We're watching something else next week.
That's excellent news.
This does not deserve our coverage.
Ed wants us to watch Shine.
Dude. If it's an hour. But we've got a lot of things we got to watch. Like tonight.
We'll watch an hour of Shine.
We had Ring of Honor and the Tenryu retirement show.
All right, which of these do you want to talk about first?
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor was awesome.
The Ring of Honor was great.
I know a lot of you people think I hate wrestling, and I don't blame you for thinking that. I love wrestling when it's good. And this Ring of Honor was full of good wrestling. In fact, the first match was great.
It wasn't even wrestling. Everything was good about it. Interviews were good.
Yes.
The angle was good.
Yes.
The skit at the beginning of the show was phenomenal.
Yes. The storylines are good. The characters are intriguing.
The best character on the show is a man who would never step 1 foot into a ring on Raw.
I'm not even sure which one you're talking about.
The Beer City Bruiser.
There's 8 guys in the show who would never be on Raw who are awesome. But yes, the Beer City Bruiser.
He has the least opportunity of anyone on this entire roster.
That's fair.
But I love him.
I do too.
I'm not burying him.
No.
I'm just stating a fact.
Their priorities are different than yours. All right.
Yeah, my priority is entertainment.
Yes.
Okay? I don't even know what their priority is anymore. Getting retweets?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And by them, I'm talking WWE.
Their priorities are hashtags. So this show began with Silas Young teaching the boys how to change a tire. First, he finds them with their man buns, admiring themselves in the mirror.
You hate these man buns.
Doesn't everyone?
What an old man.
I am an old man.
I sport a man bun.
Not like these.
Well, there's a little higher on the head.
So, he was appalled, as any man would be. He said, come on, I'm going to teach you how to change a tire. And this led to hijinks, where between the two of them, they could barely even lift the spare tire out of the trunk. Then it began to roll away, and they had to chase it. Then they were unsure how to use the jack to lift the car. And he came over and scolded them, no, you're supposed to jack it up. Pause for laughter. Oh, it was all great. And then this led to one of my favorite matches of 2015.
This is the match of the year so far.
It might actually be. I have not had this much fun watching a pro wrestling match in months. Silas Young and his good pal, the Beer City Bruiser.
His friend.
His chum. Against War Machine.
Yeah.
Think of these 4 men.
Hanson,
Ray Rowe, the Beer City Bruiser, and Silas Young.
With the boys.
With the boys. But of the 4 men in the match, the most attractive one would in fact be Silas Young.
You know, I believe now in the last month, each of us has paused at the beginning of a Beer City Bruiser match in order to say, let me talk about the Beer City Bruiser. I did it the week I went solo. The next week, you saw him for the first time, and you said, let me speak about the Beer City Bruiser.
Yes.
Well, now it's my turn again.
Good.
Let me talk about the Beer City Bruiser. He's amazing. I am almost certain that he has gained minimum 100 pounds since the last time I saw him on television, which I'm pretty sure was last week. He's so fat. I believe he's gone out of his way to get even smaller trunks.
Yes.
So that he looks even fatter, and it looks even more lewd when he comes out here in front of the crowd wearing next to nothing. He's so big, he's so fat, he's so pale, and he so clearly doesn't give a fuck.
And bald.
Because he's on television,
Don't forget the bald.
and he's having the time of his life as the Beer City Bruiser. He can move. He's great.
His trunks are so small that I am in constant fear they will fall down. And while I love him, I don't love him that much. So they come out.
He's so fat, if his pants fell down, you'd see nothing.
Well, there's that too.
His stomach would just hang low.
Right.
Obscuring the bits. The nether
The
regions.
nether regions. So the boys come out carrying the keg, which is a great burden for the boys.
I'm not sure they're old enough to drink. This may have been illegal on the part of Silas Young.
You can carry beer, you just can't consume it. So they got that in the ring, and then the match finally began, and as I noted, it ruled. So Bruiser is a huge, large, fat guy. So is Hansen, frankly. And all they did was collide into each other like pool balls over and over and over again.
It was amazing.
It was tremendous.
By the way, I love the idea that Silas Young, one of his goals is to make the boys bring a beer keg to the ring, which will serve no purpose.
Well, it's part of the Bruiser's gimmick.
But they don't drink before.
No.
They don't drink after. There's no drinking.
The only time I've seen him do anything with it other than carry it is I've seen him carry it to the ring, set it down to the corner, and use it as a stool.
Sure.
That's all. That's what it's for. So Silas gets taken out for a while. Bruiser gets taken out for a while. Silas gets destroyed in the corner for a bit as they just kicked him to death, and the announcers called this the Boot Parade. They got the heat on Ray Rowe. The Beer City Bruiser hit a big, fat bullfrog splash.
It's awesome.
So, Bruiser's fat, everyone. This is a key point. He is fat and very heavy. And Rowe caught him with something like a spine buster. It was somewhere in between a spine buster and a power bomb and just a big slam. He picked him up like a small child picking up a slightly younger sibling. Held him up there and threw him down to the earth, and then tagged Hansen in. Hansen's running wild, throwing dudes everywhere. The boys do their best to help their man Silas by grabbing Hansen's feet. And he drags them both into the ring. He stacks them up on top of each other in the corner like cordwood. Then he stacks Silas on top of them, and he starts laying in forearms to the pile of men. That's where I wrote, this is my favorite match. Rowe picked up the bulbous Bruiser, hit a deadlift exploder suplex that was terrifying.
Whitney hates wrestling except for like Santino and an occasional funny thing. Boy, was she into this match.
Oh, yeah.
When they suplexed that fucker, she screamed.
Oh,
I
yeah.
screamed. You screamed.
Yes. So finally, Bruiser tried to dive off the apron.
This was potentially lethal.
The boys are holding Ray Rowe between them, and Bruiser attempts to hit a dive off the apron, but Rowe dodges, and the Bruiser, who is at least 300 pounds, lands on the boys, who are no more than 220 pounds combined.
Oh, fuck. Less than that.
And killed them. Just squashed them. And they threw Bruiser into the ring, and they hit their finish on Bruiser, which is Ray Rowe holding him basically in a back suplex. So he grabs
Holding him.
Yes, he grabs him. I don't know how he got his arms around his waist, but he did. He lifts him to the sky. He holds him there for a long time, teetering and tottering and leaning, but never dropping him. And finally, Hansen comes off the top with a leg drop, driving Bruiser's head into the mat, and they pinned him.
A key point to this is that Ray Rowe lifts the guy up, and Ray Rowe's partner is Hansen, who, as Vinny noted, is fat.
Yes.
It takes him a while to scale all the way up to the top rope.
Yes.
Roughly the time it took King Kong to get to the top of the Empire State Building, which, if I recall in the movie, was a good 15 minutes. Finally, he jumps, and the Beer City Bruiser's body, hurtling to earth, arms and legs splayed out, waving wildly, all of us simultaneously died.
There were screams everywhere.
Everywhere. Best match of the year.
When this was over, I usually get through this shit as fast as I can and want to move on with my life. I wanted to rewind this show and watch this entire match again from the start.
We still can.
I might have
unless
to.
I deleted it.
I might have to.
But it will be online soon.
We will see how it goes. I implore you all.
There's more.
There is more. In fact, yeah, I will say that till the end. They recap Steve Corino's attack of BJ Whitmer and his apparent departure from the company. And then Nigel brought Corino out for a promo, really. He explained, Steve, you are a color commentator. And we told you this. You are not allowed to contact a contracted wrestler.
You're talking about the noggin knocker?
I forgot all about that.
That's what I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about how much other great stuff there was on the show. Yes, the Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser were disgusted at the boys and their failure to hold Ray Rowe for that dive spot. And so they were scolding them and scowling at them. And then Silas grabs them and hits a double noggin knocker. And they both go down. I went 4 3/4 for that match.
I went full 5. What the fuck are you talking about?
I guess I'm a nitpicker. Okay. They recap Steve Corino's attack of BJ Whitmer, his apparent departure from the company. And then Nigel brought Corino out for a promo. He said, you're a color commentator, and we told you are not allowed to contact a contracted wrestler. Now, I understand why you took those actions, but that doesn't change the fact that I cannot reinstate you as a color commentator. My only option is to reinstate you as a wrestler. And I have talked to BJ Whitmer. He will be ready to fight by Final Battle, and at that show, Steve Corino will face BJ Whitmer in a fight without honor. Everyone cheered. And Corino took the mic. He explained about how he had dreamed about being a pro wrestler since he was 8 years old. And in the ensuing decades, he had made 70-plus tours of Japan and been full-time living in the U.S., living his dream. He knew his body was broken. He was happy to pay that price, so that was the price it meant to be a wrestler. But there was a pain in his neck that would not go away, a numbness in his fingers that would not go away. So he had talked to the doctors, and they told him he needed at least 3 vertebrae in his neck fused, and his in-ring career was over. He said, pro wrestlers never retire until their last breath. But if this is goodbye, I want to thank ROH for keeping me around when they didn't have to. He thanked the owners. He thanked management. Thanked Sinclair staff. Thanked
Hunter Johnson.
Hunter Johnson.
Which I mentioned because that, of course, is Delirious's real name.
Yes.
And apparently he hates hearing that name.
I see.
He wants to be referred to as ROH Booker Delirious. So I was very surprised they threw his name out here.
He also thanked men like Adam Pearce, Kevin Steen, Jimmy Jacobs, Colt Cabana. And he closed things by saying, my name is Steve Corino, and I will always be an evil man. And he laid the mic down in the ring.
Put that on my tombstone.
And made his evil exit, hugging everyone on his way out. These two dudes, on their own, have been booking this feud for seriously like 5+ years. Maybe even more than that.
Well.
And they're finally going to get a chance to pay it off, and it's going to be awesome.
No.
No?
No.
This is a real promo?
Dave said that he legit needs surgery and has to retire.
Oh.
Now, far be it for me to doubt Dave, but this is professional fucking wrestling, right?
Right. So,
there was skepticism. And so I checked, and in fact, it is true. This is 100% legit. He needs surgery, and he needs to retire. And apparently what happened was, he went to the doctor after they shot him being fired as a commentator. But something to think about. Yeah, so they fired him in storyline to set up the match, but then he went to the doctor and found out he couldn't actually do the match. Mm-hmm. So for the time being, they're screwed.
Yeah.
They can't do the match, and he's been fired in storyline.
Yes.
So yeah, they're not doing the match at Final Battle, and this was the payoff here.
Oh.
It was a hell of a retirement promo. I'll give the guy that.
I figured his line about being an evil man was Tim telling the world, I'm lying to you all right now.
No. Apparently this is legit as can be, and he's done, which sucks.
That's shitty then. My enjoyment for the show just went down several notches. Silas caught the boys attempting to use the women's restroom.
This was weird.
He said, no. You don't go in there. You come into the men's room. I'm going to teach you how to use a urinal, not a stall like women do. And he took them in to use the urinal, and suffice to say, things did not go as easy as he thought they might. Adam Cole cut a promo. He was outraged at some of the names who apparently outranked him in the list of top championship contenders. So what this was, it took me a while to figure it out. This was a sneaky way of replacing Mandy Leon on the Inside ROH segment.
Yeah.
Because Adam Cole turned this promo on everyone else into a rundown of the card for Final Battle and some of the other matches that are going on. He's a significant upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the men's room, the toilet flushed. Silas came out of the stall with a plunger, handed it to the boys, told them, it's all yours, take care of it. Lessons. Michael Elgin versus Kevin Lee Davidson.
Runner-up
in a match
for
I
match of the year.
Totally forgotten about until right this second.
How?
This
was another one that Whitney died watching. So there ain't much to see.
No. Kevin Lee Davidson, one of many big fat men on the show.
I have a theory, by the way.
All right.
I don't know this. I didn't ask, and I'm sure I'll find out tomorrow, but I think this match went much longer, and it was edited to 2 moves.
There was an edit, I can tell you for sure.
There was so Kevin Lee Davidson, a huge fatty, rushes at him and does like a forearm. There's a very obvious cut.
Yeah.
And then Michael Elgin gives him what appears to be a shoot lariat.
Yes.
If you can imagine a shoot lariat to a fat guy, it's like you hit him as hard as you can in the neck, and he slowly crumples to the ground, and then he's pinned. That was the whole match.
Yes. I assume something went horrible.
This bump was so funny.
Well, it's because it wasn't a bump.
No.
It was one man trying to take another man down, not with a tackle or a takedown or a throw, but with a clothesline. And he hit him in the side of the neck and the side of the head as hard as he could. And the other guy, who was big and fat, didn't move at all. And so Elgin then followed through with a clothesline, drove him down to the mat, and got on top of him and pinned him.
Yes. It was as if this man was so fat that you had to tie cords to him and hang him from the ceiling like a marionette.
Yeah.
And as soon as Elgin hit him, you just let go of all the strings and he just goes...
Kinda? It was. I would go more with the tree falling down.
That too.
Timber, yeah. So Elgin then cuts a promo. He says he had just competed in the G1 Climax in Japan, and that tournament had shown him what was important. And that was the ROH title around Jay Lethal's waist, and he vowed to get that title back. Addiction versus Kingdom for the tag titles. Kevin Kelly pointed out this was a battle of heels, outright saying, who will break more rules in this match?
And they delivered.
They delivered. We had almost most of this match was straight comedy, as they had tried to out-cheat each other. They tried every dirty trick in the book. They were trading cheap shots from the outside first. Then they were slapping each other in the face. Sabin and Taven both tried to hit belt shots. They each saw the other guy with a belt, so they threw their belt down and acted like they'd been hit. The old Eddie Guerrero trick.
It's the last heel versus heel match we saw on Raw.
I have no idea.
There wasn't one in the tournament so far?
I don't think so. Well, we just saw Del Rio and Stardust.
There you go, Del Rio and Stardust.
It wasn't this good.
No, that's the point.
Yeah.
They got 2 heels? I just go do a match. Del Rio, you get the heat. That's it. That's what they came up with in a world title tournament match.
Yes.
These guys were like, all right, 2 heel teams. Well, let's have some fun. Let's try now cheat each other.
Yes.
Let's see what we can come up with.
Yes. Then Maria and Chris Sabin both got caught tripping people out at the same time. They were both ejected. We got a train wreck spot with a parade of dives, including Taven hitting just an insane leaping tope on everybody. Got a bunch of double teams and near falls in the ring. Ref got speared. They did a quadruple down. Maria returned to the ring, tried to wake up her men. Daniels caught her and went for Angel's Wings, but Bennett broke that up, and then she kicked Daniels in the balls and hit something like a super kick.
It was a super kick, all right.
There were much more big moves, and then someone ran out in a red mask, super kicked Kazarian. Based on his body language, it looked like this was an accident. Then he bailed, and Bennett speared Kazarian and pinned him. So they didn't know if this was Sabin under a mask again, or someone pretending to be Sabin under a mask. And then War Machine came out for a stare down with Kingdom because you see, the winners of the first great match and the winners of the second great match are now going to fight each other in the pay-per-view. How novel.
Crazy.
This show ruled.
The show was awesome. I thought this was going to be the Jay Lethal Roderick Strong match, but apparently that's next week.
I cannot envision Jay Lethal and Roderick Strong being better than War Machine versus
Well,
Silence
of course
and
not.
Diversity
Of
versus-
course not. It can be in the top 10 match of the year, but
That's
certainly
fine.
can't be number
That's
one.
fine. All of you go out of your way, lie, cheat, and steal, do whatever you have to do to see this show, and especially that opening tag match. That ruled.
Fuck, though. Watch the whole show.
Well, you should.
There was nothing on this show that was not good, including a Michael Elgin squash match with a random big fat guy.
That is a fact.
Which leads us to,
The
on a totally different subject,
Oh my yes.
the Tenryu retirement show. Now, we did not watch the whole show. It's 4 hours long. But we watched the Suzuki match, the tag match, which I had been told was a must-see, and boy was it ever. And, obviously, Tenryu's retirement with Kazuchika Okada, the IWGP champion, 28 years old, against 65-year-old Tenryu. This I had to see. I was not let down for 1 second when watching this show.
So the opener, and forgive me as I butcher these names.
Yoshihiro Takayama and Yoshiaki Fujiwara
Right.
against Minoru Suzuki and Kazunari Murakami.
Okay. So I was familiar to one degree or another with 3 of these men. I knew nothing about Murakami going in. So the Suzuki and Murakami come out, and everyone's waiting for the next team, and suddenly Flight of the Valkyries plays.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is always Fujiwara's music, but there was a small buzz in the crowd like, perhaps it's Bryan Danielson. And if you were thinking you might get Bryan Danielson, and now watch Yoshihiro Takayama looking like blonde Frankenstein.
Oh, this guy.
I mean, yeah.
Let's give some facts here.
All right.
Takayama is 49. It physically pains me to watch him move.
Yes.
More so than, for example, Fujiwara, who appeared to be 100 years old.
Right.
He's actually 66, meaning he's older than Tenryu.
Yeah.
He's in better shape.
Much.
Murakami, a spring chicken, at only 41. And Suzuki at 47. Looks incredible for 47.
It does.
In the best shape of anyone in the match by a significant margin.
So, I don't want to shock you, but a good portion of this match was Suzuki and Takayama slapping each other in the face as hard as they possibly could.
Yes.
Over and over and over and over and over again. And after several minutes of this, Fujiwara tagged in, and as noted, he looked at least 66.
At least 166.
So, the whole gimmick at first is, we all know Suzuki will stiff the fuck out of people. Will he stiff this old man? And Fujiwara comes in, and he starts slapping Suzuki, essentially daring him. Hit me, fucker, come on. And Suzuki's grabbing he's like rubbing his chin in that kind of thoughtful kind of way, like, do I want to? All right. And he hauls off, and he slaps Fujiwara in the head, and Fujiwara responds by slapping him back, and Suzuki grabs his mouth and goes down, and the place goes nuts.
Amazing.
Oh, so awesome.
Suzuki did not give 2 fucks that this guy was 66 years old. They were going to get in a goddamn fight, and they did.
So, they got separated for a while. They started slapping each other in the face again. I'm talking about Fujiwara and Suzuki here. They're slapping each other in the face, and then Suzuki drops him with a punch to the gut. And the crowd does that, oh, like, that fucker backed out of the face slapping fight for a cheap shot of a punch to the gut. Murakami came in. They worked over Fujiwara in a more gentle manner for a while. So much greatness in here.
Let me talk about the turnbuckle.
Okay.
You guys have all heard the... Oh, by the way, the stomach, it's because he had stomach cancer.
Ah, I see.
Suzuki punched him in the stomach
Yeah,
because he's an asshole.
I see.
So they're outside the ring on the apron. Now, when everyone hears the turnbuckle, what you're actually thinking of is the turnbuckle pad.
Right.
The turnbuckle is the metal screw-on gimmick between the post and the pad.
Right. It's a
and the
horizontal.
ropes.
It's a horizontal piece of shiny metal.
Yes. They're brawling outside the ring, and Suzuki grabs his head, and he rams him into the turnbuckle. Not the turnbuckle pad. He rams him into the turnbuckle. Now, I, Brian Alvarez, would put my hand up to block my head from hitting the turnbuckle. Not Fujiwara.
No.
Oh, no. He goes head first into the turnbuckle, and you hear clang. And he rubs his forehead.
Oh, yeah.
And Suzuki grabs his head again, and he throws into the buckle, and you hear clang. His fucking skull hitting metal. And after twice hitting the turnbuckle, it is time for Fujiwara to not sell.
Yeah.
And he fires up, and he gets in the ring, and his revenge is to headbutt Suzuki,
Yes.
who sells it like he's been shot.
Yes.
It's the greatest match ever.
This was tremendous. So after this, Fujiwara tags out, and Takayama and Suzuki are beating the hell out of each other again. And it comes down to Murakami and Fujiwara in the ring. And Murakami drops him with a punch, and everyone is sad. And he goes to finish him off, but Fujiwara catches him in. Yes, the Fujiwara armbar for the submission win, and everyone was happy.
Went crazy. Now, I have not watched Kazunari Murakami in a long time. And yes, Vinny, our team sucks. That's the messages I've been getting here. Why am I getting messages about sports? I have absolutely no idea.
I'm adjusting my notes on the wrestling match.
Anyway, so Murakami's gimmick, if I recall correctly, and any Japanese wrestling experts can correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to recall that his gimmick was he was a shooter, and so his gimmick in pro wrestling was that he would not cooperate, and he would be really stiff, and he would fuck with people, and he was an asshole. So, at the end of the match, he's in there doing that to Fujiwara, who is 66. He's stepping on his face.
Yeah.
He's punching him in the face. He's being a complete prick. And finally, he takes a big asshole swing, and he gets caught in the Fujiwara armbar. He submits, and the place goes crazy. This was awesome.
That is exactly how it went down, too. And then we watched the main event. Actually, there was more. So all these old, beaten men have now beat each other up for 20 minutes, and they're hobbling even worse. And they decide, fuck it, let's keep fighting.
That's right.
And now they're fighting again, only this time they're playing Flight of the Valkyries. This is a fine way to go out.
This was great. This was great. And then Tenryu versus Okada.
Okay.
Let me just say, if you have not seen Tenryu, he's 65, and while he is 65, even 1 decade ago, when he was 55, he was fucking great. Unfortunately now, he can barely move. He's wearing this giant weight belt. When he appeared on the New Japan show to challenge Okada for this match, when I saw him walking into the ring, not for one moment did I think that he was going to challenge for a wrestling match. It looks like he has to intensely concentrate to take each step. Left leg, up, forward. Right leg, up, forward. He can't go backwards.
No.
He's like a bicycle that only goes one direction. It can't back up. I imagine, if you have not seen him, if you've been to Vegas and you were with Granny this year after she just had her hip surgery and was having a hard time getting around, I'm sure she gets around better than Tenryu.
God, yes.
I'm pretty sure that Okada may have had a better match with Granny than Tenryu, but goddamn, he tried. This is the only match. This is historic. This is more historic than Ronda Rousey getting beaten by Holly Holm. This was the first match I've ever seen in my life where a man powerbombed himself.
Well, that was the plan.
No, he powerbombed. He did all the work.
Yes.
Tenryu put his arms around the man's waist. Okada leaped in the air, tried to do a full flip, didn't make it, and fell down on his head at one point during this match.
So you mentioned the weight belt Tenryu was wearing. I've only ever seen one man wrestle in a weight belt like this. It was Andre the Giant after back surgery when he could barely walk. And Andre at least said, you know what, I'm going to put a singlet on to sort of hide this. Not Tenryu. That was his top layer. Was his weight belt.
Yes.
And then after watching this match, Andre in the WrestleMania match against Hulk Hogan, much, much more mobile than Tenryu was here.
Oh, yeah.
Khali at his worst, much more mobile than Tenryu was here. I don't think I've ever seen a human being in a wrestling ring who was not more mobile than Tenryu was here. There was a point, he teased this powerbomb multiple times. And the first time he teased it, he fell down. Not on the lift.
No.
The part where he grabs Okada's head and puts it between his legs.
Yeah, because if you imagine Kevin Nash where, like, you know...
Much more mobile than Tenryu, by the way.
Yes, the guys in front of him... Speaking of, they always used to call Kevin Nash's powerbomb a drop bomb. Mm-hmm. Wrong. This was a drop bomb.
Oh, Okada was dropped.
So the guy's in front of Nash, and Nash reaches his arms way forward, and then he yanks him and does like a hip thrust.
Yes.
When he pulls him in.
Yeah.
Tenryu tried that. He pulled him too hard.
Yes.
He knocked himself on his own ass.
Yeah, that's no good.
Let's be fair to Tenryu. When he was just standing there and punching and chopping, great. Great chops.
He can still chop the piss out of someone.
He punched him in the face as hard as he could.
Well...
Okada's face is all fucked up at the end of the match.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I believe he was punching as hard as he could. Because that's as hard as he could punch. And they knew it was going to do any damage. And when he wasn't chopping, everything he did was bad.
But it was dramatic.
This
the karate chop?
He would chop the piss out of him.
No, the karate chop. Where he stood over him?
Where Okada was down and Tenryu held his hand up over his head for a good 3 or 4 seconds and then brought it down and the momentum nearly took himself down with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So Okada teased a tombstone. Yeah, good one.
If you imagine the tallest tree in the world falling down, that is about how long it took for this karate chop to go from over Tenryu's head to the back of Okada's neck.
Yes.
And I would bet you anything, it hurt like fuck.
Oh, yeah. I bet that's true, too. So Okada, the other thing Tenryu could do, he could throw chops and he could get kicked in the face.
He could bump.
I didn't say that.
But he could. He fell down a lot.
Yeah.
He took a lot of drop kicks.
Yes, he got drop kicked in the face and chest repeatedly. Over and over again. And he tried something resembling a shining wizard. So finally, after his 3rd or 4th try, the powerbomb failed. He says, I've got an idea. My back won't support the weight of this powerbomb. But if I lean against the turnbuckles and use the ring to support my back, then maybe I can pull this off. So he does this. He tries the powerbomb out of the corner. And this is where Okada attempted to powerbomb himself. And he got, I guess, 90 degrees over and then fell straight down on top of his head. That was scary.
This is the IWGP champion.
Yes. And I am watching this. I'm looking at Tenryu, and he looks like a snowman melting in the sun. And Okada kept trying the Rainmaker. Maybe some of you have not seen Okada. Let me describe this move. He stands behind the guy. With his left arm, he reaches around the man's waist and grabs his right arm, and then spins him away with that, and then hits a big clothesline. That's his finish. The flaw in this plan is Tenryu can't spin.
Or go backwards. That's a double whammy.
He's stuck there. So every time he tried this move, they ended up just being stuck there. Nothing would happen, and Tenryu would elbow his way free or something. So after about 5 tries of this, he puts him up for the Rainmaker. He reaches around, he grabs his arm, and then I can't say he spun him, but he created distance.
He spun himself.
Yes, and then he clotheslined him, and he pinned him. This was the best horrible match I ever saw.
Yes, that is entirely accurate.
It was so amazingly awful and so tremendously great.
I mean, God bless Tenryu, but when they used to talk about Ric Flair having a good match with a Broom more mobile than Tenryu. This may have been the most impressive one-man performance I've ever seen out of anyone ever.
Yeah.
He powerbombed himself. He suplexed himself. He DDT'd himself. Tenryu, give the guy credit. He made it through the match. He almost killed his opponent, which is the goal in pro wrestling, right?
Yeah.
He got a lot of drop kicks to the face, chest, and about the body. Mm-hmm. And he did the best he could.
Yes.
It was his idea to do Okada.
Yes.
I don't feel bad for him. This was his idea.
Yeah. So Okada gets the win. He then gets the hell out of there because this is not his moment. He knows it. And everyone's cheering for Tenryu, and they give the announcer in the ring, and they say, we have some special guests. Here is Stan Hansen. And Stan Hansen comes out, and all of these guys in the 70s or 80s, they lived very hard lives. They had a very, very hard job, and all their bodies are destroyed. Stan Hansen looks the same.
Yeah.
Stan Hansen looks like he'd still kick your ass. Stan Hansen comes out. Terry Funk comes out.
Well, Stan still needed help getting down the stairs at the end.
I see. Terry Funk still wearing the blazer, the sweatpants, and the cowboy boots. Always a great look. And they present flowers to their respected rival, Tenryu. And I mention all this because these men had great music. The funkiness of Terry Funk's music. I guess that's why they call him Terry Funk now. And also Stan Hansen. Tremendous songs. And they all posed for photos together. And that was that. Those are the legends.
Yep. That was something else. I may have to go watch the whole entire show now. I do know there were a couple of matches at the beginning that were actually described as bad. So I can only imagine. In fact, there's a match on the show that a caller to Observer Live said was minus 10 stars, but Sempervivi said it was plus 5 stars.
Interesting.
That's a 15-star discrepancy.
It's rare.
So I need to watch that match.
Which one was that?
I think it was the opener. I'm not sure because
Right.
I'd have to go back. But anyway, it's on New Japan World, everybody. 999 yen, so check it out. And let's play one last song, and we'll wrap it up. This is from Sam. All right, so Billy Gunn is gone.
I have a gut that says that in 9 months he'll be back.
This was quiet for months.
I've been working on this one.
And this sounds ridiculous, but I was thinking maybe there's another Kip Saw. I wonder how they found out. You think they Googled his name for something and that came up?
No, they found out. They found out. And that's what happened. They found out.
How?
How?
This happened in July. What took so long?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know.
They found out.
Could have been Bart Gunn getting him back.
Bart.
Long burn storyline.
He turned on
From 96?
He turned on Bart, when yeah.
Wow.
Years ago.
Well, maybe Sunny's somehow involved because she was managing.
Son could be involved in anything.
She'd have been having her own problems.
Oh my God, that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like, what can I say?
There you go. The Billy Gunn conspiracy.
Yes.
All right, everybody, that is it from here. The Craig contest is Tuesday. So get ready. If you have not entered the contest yet, it is this coming Tuesday. 1 minute ode to Vinny with your favorite old school 80s hair band song, MP3 format, Craig contest in the subject line. Once again, 1 minute MP3, Bryan at WrestlingObserver.com, put Craig contest in the subject line. I just got word it's over, Vinny.
Oh, yeah.
Vinny just swallowed a frog.
That's been over for a while, but yeah.
What can you say about this team?
They're no good. I shouldn't say they're no good. They're not good enough.
No.
They're not good enough.
Man.
They've
It's been rough here in Seattle.
keep playing good teams and keep losing to them.
You know why I want them to win? Because I'm sick of the Como4 News Twitter being so pathetic. Oh, guy's marking out during the games, and he's so depressed. He's practically asking for prayers. This is a news outlet. Anyway, everybody.